I'm Ken, I'm the rhythm guitarist. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Oh, and of course my favorite band's the Scary Mondelos.
Nice. How long you playing?
So I've been doing this for 30 years, played every style of music under the sun. Lord, my first band, high school, the Blockheads. Yeah. And I started out playing here in this town. Left town. Of course, you always come back home if you're a Texan. And here I am now. Love the band, I love the songs, love the energy. And thankful I'm a part of it.
How many bands have you been in?
Over the years, I'd probably say at least 20. Let's see. Blockheads, Noise Abatement, New Image, Veronica, the Marlboro Men, Clockwork, Girl on the Hill, House Band for Jazz, Texas. These are bands that didn't have names. Ruby Alexander would be my most accomplished. Ruby Alexander, the Bonafide Playboys. It's retro pop fusion. It's completely different from what we do with the Mondelos, but believe it or not, if you dig deep enough, branching from the same tree. As you mentioned, in the military, Fleet Week 2007. I made it a point, my mission in life, to go see Les Paul, because he was 90-something, wasn't getting any younger. So, and believe it or not, I had to break the rules and go by myself, because his buddy system, but I didn't care, right? He was 90-something years old, was going uptown. So I went, got to see him. They let me in because it's Fleet Week, and I asked if I could take a picture with them. MC said yes. So I go back. There's a little guy. We stand, we take the picture. I'm excited, being a guitarist. And then the MC says, sit down. He wants to hang out and talk with you. So at that point, my mind's blown. And I'm sitting on this couch with Les Paul, and he sits and he's eating his piece of pie. And because he was Les Paul, he had to ask the obligatory question of, so what kind of guitar you play? And, at the time I didn't have a Les Paul because, well, I had to sell my children, right, to get one of those things. We sat and 5 minutes, talked about guitars. The rest of the time, we spoke about life. And he did 2 shows. This was a Monday. And so during his break, we sat, we hung out, and I just listened to him talk about life. Unless he was 90-something years old. He was talking about the ship that had pulled in for Fleet Week, which the ship that was there had been in the Navy for 50 years and was named after its predecessor, which got sunk in the war. And he was telling me about the time he played on this ship. He's like, yeah, I was on the ship. We did a show on there. And I was like, yo, should I tell him that ship got sunk after he played the show? And this is the new one 50 years later? Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Called my parents and put them on, speakerphone so he could talk to them. It was pretty cool. Still one of the greatest days of my life. So I'm walking back to the ship and I'm saying to myself, snap, I have to own a Les Paul now after this. There's no way I could hang out with the man and not own one. So it took about 5 years because this was 2007. I had to save up because I tried selling my kids, but no one would buy them. So after saving up money, I tracked down a 2007 American-made Gibson Les Paul. So if you come out and see us, that's what you'll see.
Cool.
Made you My name's John Conley. I'm the drummer. Abilene, Texas. A dozen, maybe. Yeah, that's a lot of short-lived bands back in my college days. Bob Lolly was probably the best band I was ever in, and it was pretty short-lived for me. But you know, we were gigging a lot in San Marcos, Austin, some in San Antonio and Houston. So we were busy. It was pretty wild. It was a college town, so everybody was kind of from all over. Actually, nobody was a San Marcos. No one was a San Martian officially local, but it just all ended up in. I've never played a big show. You know, I've played a couple little minor festivals. The Hemp Fest in San Marcos one time. That was probably actually the biggest as far as number of people. But we opened up for Joe King Carrasco once at Cheatham Street Warehouse. That was interesting. I used to book the band, and back then we would take any gig just for the exposure. And I got us a gig at a coffee house in Austin, like on a Tuesday night, and so we all loaded up all our gear, drove to Austin, and played for two or three sets at a coffee house for tips, and I think we made like $9 or $13 for the whole band, and there were like maybe 7 or 8 people walked in throughout the evening, and I could name lots of gigs like that actually. Hey, we booked a good gig one time at a big club in San Marcos. I don't remember the name of it because it's in one of the old historic brick buildings, and clubs have come and gone through the years. But there was a band here in San Marcos from San Antonio that was really good called Brick, and a bunch of Air Force guys, and they dragged all their gear up there. And when we showed up to the gig, the IRS had put a chain and a notice on the club door. They'd been shut down for tax evasion. My favorite by far was the skit with the manager and the laugh track that was perfectly timed off. It was, I thought that was genius.
Let's see now, list of things to do today besides annoy Frank. I should probably call up the talent.
Sydney, just the man I need to talk to.
Hey, it's a girl's name. What if I just called you the talent?
Talent. Guess you never heard of Sydney Poitier or Sydney Sheldon or Sydney Vicious. Anyway, the reason I'm glad that you called me is because we need to get some new t-shirts made. We've been selling them like hotcakes. I mean, people like free hotcakes, so we've been giving them away like free hotcakes. And we need to get some more so that this time we can sell them.
What do you want from me, alone?
See, Rocky Road will give us a better deal if we buy more shirts, so I need to know how many we can buy, how many we can afford, and there's a number that you have that I need to know so that I can tell Rocky Road, and so I just need that number. I need our budget. What do we have in our account, in our shoebox?
Yeah, the band's budget, I got it right here.
Hello?
Okay, this is a copy of my bank statement. Hold on, let me just consult my financial advisors.
There we go.
Do we have enough money for shirts? Nope. Come on. Nope. Hey Raymond, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Waiting.
Prospect good.
Wait, what?
Today was pretty hard. I can check bands list.
There is no better episode because there is no better bass player than this guy right here. Hey, my name is Nathan Jaworski. I'm the bass player in the Scary Mondelos. I grew up in a little place called Paris, California, in Southern California. Started my first band when I was 15. Played with those guys for about 6 or 7 years all throughout high school and college. Recorded a CD with a blast. Then I got married and joined the Air Force. Years later, retired, moved to San Antonio, Texas, and joined up with the Scary Mondelos. The name of my band, let's see, we went through like 8 names. First, I think we were Flood, and we went around stealing a bunch of road signs that said Flooded, and we hung those up over our rehearsal space. Then we figured that was a bad idea. Then we called ourselves Kuru, which is a really obscure brain disease you get from eating other people's brains.
I know that.
Yeah. And we thought that was funny because I grew up, I spent some time in Papua New Guinea when I was a little kid, and that's the only place where that disease is, so, because they still have cannibals there. Let's see. And then we switched to something else that I cannot remember. And then we ended with 51 Peg, because we were all a bunch of science geeks, and that was a star that had a planet floating around or something like that. But there's another band on the internet by that name, and that's not us.
Did you guys get pretty big, or?
We got pretty big locally. We played a bunch of college shows. Of course, a bunch of house parties in Southern California, that's what you do, and a bunch of college places. And that's about it. And a bunch of little bars and restaurants. Hipster things now.
Cool.
Greetings, come forward.
Hello?
Hi.
My name is...
Let me guess. Zelda.
Close, you're close. It's remote.
Oh, good to meet you. I'm Georgina.
Georgina. Okay, so do I need to tell you why I'm here, or? How does this work?
Set your intention and take a deep breath. There's a quest you have before you. Focus on that. Invite your spirit guides. An answer will come. We may proceed. I see you're young, maybe 4, no more, and you know your calling, your life as a musician, already so young. Now, I sense this calling has led you far. It seems like it's taken time, but each step, friends, champions, maybe family, are there for you. You've come very far. It may be confusing because I sense this family isn't here in a physical world. They're with you in the astral plane, guides, if you will. They've been supporting you all along. They're with you. You know, Rolling Stone comes to mind, not for the group that reminds me of your path, but for the journey of exploration, both in places and in content, artists, influences, ideas. You've been discovering along the way. There have been some that are so important. You have been able to move around and find artists that influence your own path. The turning point and things fall into place happened about, I want to say, a little over a decade, maybe 13 years ago. That has been the defining period of this path. You have a loud guide with you. He is singing your praises. You've been blessed with many events, media related even, on TV, in performances, on stages. You've had quite a journey, I'm hearing. You are well guided.
Yeah.
It seems like you've left somewhere not long ago, not far away, almost like two poles of cities pulling you, but a new one, like a beacon on the horizon of your artistry. There seems to be new people, almost like a cohering group sharing an idea together, like teams do. A group in harmony, working towards an end. Creative enterprises, in fact. You have an inspired path. There will be gifts and support along the way that continues. A big part because of how you pursue your journey. You're not just interested in your own creative vision. You love all creativity. It seems like you're engaged in helping a whole community drive, maybe even successes. It seems because of this, there are new champions, amazing supporters, getting the word out, as it were. Does that make sense?
Okay, so what do you see in my future for the next year, since it's the end of the year now? That's really what I came in for.
You have strong indicators, indeed. I was hoping to share some of the glimmerings of bookings, if that word makes any sense to you. Almost like there's a place of regular performance. Many kinds of opportunities like this emerge. "2019 involves this other side of glimmering activity. It seems to be very promotional, almost like your name is out there in a branded way. You have a part in that. You have a successful venture in 2019. And it seems to be of many kinds, involving successful band, familiarity, or something important that you're building. It's almost like you circulate that. I'm seeing something successful.
Look, Christmas socks. Ramon's such a great guy. He got everybody in the band Christmas socks. These are Ken's. They have a guitar. I have drum socks, but I don't wear socks. So I think Ramon got me some, hoping that I would start.
Yeah, I'm trying to send you a message.
We have our trusty AC.
Air conditioner?
Keeps us cool in the summer, freezes us in the winter. I'll show you where the magic happens. So.
That's what she said?
Nathan has this sweet new bass, Firebird, pedal board.
Get out of your way.
I love our backdrop with the logo. Can I say I love logos? Drums. That's where the time's kept.
Because we have the best drummer in the world.
It's Ramon's sweat corner.
That's where I sweat.
Our speakers, amps. Yeah, here's a little bit of reverb in my voice. The microphone, very nice.
You gotta do the whole, what's that dude's name?
Barry White.
Barry White thing.
There's our set list.
Infamous set list.
marks on it.